Getting a funnel to convert consistently is like filling a leaky bucket. There are a lot of different holes you can have, fixing the biggest holes first. And the way that I would do that is walk backwards. If you start with paid traffic first and fix that, but the rest of your funnel, like your landing page, your application, they're leaky, then you're paying a lot of money to lose a lot of traffic.
Welcome to the Simplify Success podcast. Now, if you're listening to this audio, you're most likely pretty smart. You're doing the work, but you're still confused on how to win in business at the level that you want to, how to grow your business exponentially. My name is Marish Nadeem Qureshi. I'm the CEO of Simplify Sales and the host of this podcast. Every single week, I talk to consultants, founders, experts who have turned their skills into serious income. And we're going to take these real stories, steps, and lessons and turn them into an actionable step-by-step guide for you so that you can get the results that you want. So let's get right into it. I'm so excited about talking to you today because you have literally helped another business gain $1 million within 90 days. So we're going to go through a little bit and simplify the steps of how you did that. But before we get into all of that, just tell us a little bit about yourself. What got you into this game of building ads and funnels for coaches? Like, what was the reason for you?
My name is Shane Henke. I am a co-founder of Ascension Model, where we help high-ticket coaches convert more traffic consistently so they're filling up their pipeline on a regular basis. And I got into it because I've always been interested in business. It's always been something that has excited me. And I can honestly say I'm a big fanboy of Alex Hormozi. When his first book came out, I loved it. How are you crafting an offer? The value equation, the desired result, the perception that it's going to take place, minimizing the negatives, taking away the effort and getting it to you faster. Those things really interested me, and I liked how they worked together. I had the pleasure of working for a coach in the real estate space as first a community success manager, talking to the people that bought into the course, helping them through the assets. And then I was able to take on a content role and helping the influencer that way. And I just got to see a lot of aspects of the business, specifically with coaches. My business partner, Tyler, was with that company as well. We saw that we were able to make big strides and growth for these coaches, and that people were becoming successful in their own lives by taking advantage of what these coaches were teaching. And so we decided, hey, we're entrepreneurs. We know that we're never going to be able to keep a W-2 job for life. So we decided to break out on our own and start helping high-ticket coaches, similar to the one that we worked for, get massive results in their own businesses and help more people along the way.
And you are with your business partner. How did you guys meet? So you guys met at that coaching space and then you started your own thing, right?
We were actually friendly before. We went to the same high school, but didn't really spend a lot of time around one another. It's funny, his mom was a throwing coach. Or mom and dad both actually were throwing coaches for track and field. He threw discus and I threw the javelin. So I was chucking the spear. And his mom had said to me, hey, you know, Tyler, you're interested in business. He's interested in business. He's got this project he's working on right now. At the time, I was like, that project's not what I'm into. But we connected about a year later after he had graduated high school and I was getting to the same place of going to college. We talked about what he was doing. That also didn't take off, but we just, kind of stayed together. And when that opportunity came about for working for that coach, Tyler was already working there. They needed somebody with a personality like mine that could meet people as they were starting this coaching program. That's how I got my foot in the door. It's been Tyler and I ever since.
It's funny because I messaged Tyler and he suggested your name and said, I think he would be best to represent the brand. And I was like, okay, cool, this is perfect. And so you mainly focus on ads and running and changing people's funnels and landing pages and the applications and the VSL. So there's so many different components to running a successful ad campaign. What would you say is like the order of priority?
Absolutely. That's a great question. And getting a funnel to convert consistently is like filling a leaky bucket. There are a lot of different holes you can have, fixing the biggest holes first. And the way that I would do that is walk backwards. If you start with paid traffic first and fix that, but the rest of your funnel, like your landing page, your application, they're leaky, then you're paying a lot of money to lose a lot of traffic. So I would work backwards. I would focus on making an application that people are completing. And there's a few different levers that you can move to make that happen. I would fix the VSL, the video sales letter, making sure that content is engaging on the page so people are sticking around and not just bouncing. And then from there, you can go back to the ads and making sure that it's speaking to a large group of people, specifically your ideal customer, so that you're getting that type of person to your page. If you fix the other part first, you're going to have a lot of drop off and a lot of money is going to be wasted in the process.
It makes sense. And so, but I'm curious, like, let's say the VSL itself, do you have a framework or something that's worked really well for coaches in the past?
Yeah, so we like to follow a paradigm shift. It starts off with a big headline or something that your ICP may slightly believe, or it's something that they've heard, but they may not think that it's true. For example, when I was working for the coach in the real estate space, it was buying properties. Can you buy 5 properties this year without maxing out your credit? And that doesn't seem like it's something that's true for somebody that might be interested in real estate, but hasn't learned the processes and the creative financing strategies. So we start with a paradigm shift, then you go into different dynamics. Maybe it's the market, and people say now is a terrible time to buy because prices are high, which is leading to only the seasoned investors with the deepest pockets able to buy real estate. But then I learned, but then I figured out it's not that way. You can use other people's money, your own money, and different funding sources to buy real estate and then not have your money sit in that deal forever. So you're able to get that cash back or you flip it and go on to the next one. We really like using the paradigm shift kind of framework so that it's engaging because people say, well, that can't be true. And then they stick around to watch and they see that your story sounds a little similar to theirs. The coach that we were working for had a W-2 job
Hmm.
and said, this isn't going to be a good enough retirement for me. So I'm going to need to figure out a way to live my best life now instead of only when I'm 65, 62, whatever the retirement age is these days. That kind of paradigm shift in the VSL is really helpful to stick around. And the headline as well, communicating your desired result, super important because if they don't see something that they're interested in the first few seconds, they will be leaving that page. So a call out's good. It's like for fitness, maybe it's for busy moms who want to lose 20 pounds. Watch this. And then it's somebody talking about their experience of being a mom and needing to still diet but feed the family the things that they want to eat. So you're able to call people out with the headline, reinforce with the VSL, and then the rest of the structure of the page too is helpful to just make those minor tweaks that increase conversions on the back end.
So first of all, two questions out of that. One is, how would you define like paradigm shift in like a little bit simpler language?
Yeah, just something, paradigm shift is something that you believe to be true, or maybe a belief about the world that is challengeable. It's something that you may have learned from a parent, a grandparent. It's something that you base your decisions off of, thinking that it's true. Like, for example, that college is a safe bet. That's a paradigm that we've had. I think my generation and maybe a little bit of yours is challenging that and saying there are other opportunities out here. We don't have to follow the beaten path. That paradigm is going away now. The same thing is taking place for these coaches. Like, there's no way I can stay in shape and be healthy as a mom of 3, 4 kids. There are ways out there. Other people have done it. It's just a matter of getting you that information and helping you take action on it.
Interesting. So, for example, let's say, and I'm just going off the cuff, using your definition, if someone's sick, one belief we have is soup and liquids will help. So, let's say if I made the ad around soups and liquids are not the best thing when you're sick, something like that. Here's the best thing.
Yeah,
That's kind of like
yeah.
challenging. Okay.
Some kind of belief that can be challenged is where the paradigm shifts become helpful. Or
Okay.
maybe it's a new method, the belief that you have to study for hours to be able to pass college tests. If you can give people that quick trick, obviously you want to make promises that you can deliver on and not lie, because I think the coaching space has a bad name because of that, of people making those undeliverable promises. But it's this 30-minute hack to increase your college test scores by 15%. If you can promise that and deliver on it, it's going to be really valuable to a certain percentage of the population. And that's who you need to speak to as a coach.
And you're so right. Like some of the ad copy and stuff online is so cringy because they get you hooked in with something challenging, but they don't follow through. It's like, oh, sorry, I was being sarcastic, and then push it to something else. But what do you feel is something that you're like, okay, this does not work at all now. Why are people still doing this? And what should they do instead?
Yeah, I think one of the big things is text sales letters. Like I mentioned before, VSLs are a much better medium for communicating. When people, at least for myself, and this,
Just one little definition. Would you define text sales letters? Because I'm a little confused on that.
yeah, basically where you've got a massive page of text taking you through the buying process. It actually comes from sales letters that were mailed out in the past.
Hmm.
Somebody, a copywriter, would write out a buying process. They would call the person they wanted, maybe mothers trying to lose weight or mothers that are trying to keep the house clean with a new vacuum cleaner, let's say. It says, cut down your cleaning time by 2 hours each week. With the new Dyson vacuum that has whatever technology, they're basically what they're doing is they're promising a result. They're telling you a story to get you to connect with it. They're giving you features, all the things happening online to create sales also take place in those sales letters. The text sales letter is basically just a digital version of this where they're doing the same process. They're calling somebody out, they're telling their story or maybe the story of someone that they've helped. They're talking about features and then they're asking for the sale. What a VSL does is basically everything that a text sales letter does. Video sales letter does the same thing as a text sales letter, except it's in a medium that's engaging. So for me, at least, when I click on a website and I just see a bunch of text, I'm not reading it. And it might just be me being lazy, but I can guarantee you that a lot of people my age and maybe even older are not interested in reading. And I guarantee you, even more so, people that are younger than me are going to be really tied to that video component in the future. So, what makes me cringe or is like, oh, you could be doing so much better is when people have that kind of a sales process where it's just text, just pictures. You really need something a little bit more engaging to really compete in today's market.
I love that because it's that old Dan Kennedy style sales letters, those kind of books and ads that made it famous, but that is so true. And I've talked to another landing page expert before this podcast, and even his advice was we're a lot more visual now. Text is a lot harder to convert. You have to be amazing at it. You genuinely have to be the best of the best to convert through text alone. So, what are your tips? I want to go back to VSLs, like video sales letters. All video sales letters mean is a video that sells you on whatever is there. Is there a
Mhm.
format or a structure, like let's say a few parts to every VSL that need to be there for it to convert?
Yeah, I think the big headline is a great first step, something to capture the attention first. A good promise. By the end of this video, you'll learn how to acquire properties without using any of your own money. You're going to learn how to cut down on the amount of time you're cleaning the house with this one simple trick. Then the story of maybe how they got to that point. A little bit of credibility goes a long way too. Too much about talking about yourself can really hurt your watch time if you spend too long on it, but you could throw something up of, hey, my name's Sherry. I'm a mom of 4 kids. I used to miss my kids' ball games because I was so busy cleaning, but now I make every single one of them because I found this little process or tool. A little bit of credibility goes a long way. Doesn't have to be much. the process, kind of outlining that paradigm shift where we used to be, where we are now, and then some social proof as well. So getting people to see that they're not the only ones that have made this decision. Testimonials are incredibly powerful. If you're just getting started with business, you need to get testimonials however you can. We started doing free work at the beginning, even though we had track record of being successful and knowing what we were doing. Nobody had trusted us personally outside of a W-2 environment. So that's the first thing you have to do. Or you give people incentives. If you're really strapped for cash and you need this to work, I would argue maybe even to do free work a little bit more than somebody who can let it go a little bit longer. Maybe you give half off in return for a testimonial or some sort of incentive because it is super helpful. So after you have your testimonials, you're also going to deliver massive value, and that's going to be in the form of the pitch. What would you be willing to pay for this kind of outcome? Russell Brunson had this Your First Funnel challenge a few years ago that I participated in,
Mhm.
and he had a structure of this and this and this. But each step it was, we've got this step. It's valued at $700. We're giving it to you for $3. We've got this step. It's worth $1,200. We're giving it to you for free for taking action. Build up massive value. Like we could charge you reasonably a lot of money for this, but because you're here, this works really well for webinars, somewhere like it's a live event or something. Because you're here, because you've already shown you're an action taker, I want to give you a leg up and give you access to this for X amount of dollars. So get some motivation built up is really helpful as well. Directly to the CTA. Say, if you're interested in taking action on this offer, click on the button below so that you reserve your spot or you can change your life. Whatever the CTA is, whatever you feel would motivate your audience the most, you call them to action and then you reinforce with that button that also has their desired result. Buy 5 properties this year. Save 2 hours per week. Whatever their desired result is, you're going to reinforce that with the button. And then it's going to go, in our case, with a lot of the high ticket coaches that we work with, to an application where we're able to qualify or disqualify those clients before they even get on their calendar. That way they're not taking the wrong kind of calls.
Okay. I'm just taking some notes because I'm just thinking what was the outline? And if I'm going to just draw this out to make sure I'm getting this right, it's the big headline, starting off with that. Then what's the promise, what they're going to get by the end of the video, your story that has a little bit of credibility in it, then sharing the process plus basically the pitch, right?
The process slash the paradigm shift, and then the pitch followed up. It's like, hey, if you want to take the next step, if you want some hand holding or coaching on how to make this a reality for your life, I've got this offer. If it's kind of B2B, we understand that language in the business space, but if you're speaking B2C, you may want to use fluffier language. It's like, hey, I've got this cohort, I've got this program, I have whatever it is that makes it sound nicer that you can take part in right now, which they will. If they're the ICP and they've sat with you, you've nurtured them, giving them the tools to say, I'm not the only one making this decision. It's worked for other people in the past. It's incredible value. I would be ridiculous to say no. The same way that Alex Hormozy says, they would feel stupid saying no to your offer. That's where you want them to be at the end of that call or video ready for a call.
Okay. I love that. So the start off with the big headline, promise them what they're going to get from the video, go into your story and add the credibility into your story at the same time, share this process or the shift that they're going to get, the transformation, then start selling how good your offer is, add incentives and reasons to buy now, which is like you mentioned, there's so many different examples, and then push them to the application page.
hmm And yeah, and an application is really only important if you are taking calls and you want to limit the amount of calls. There have been times for clients where an application was not important to them because the amount of leads was. So they didn't care if they were taking some unqualified calls because they didn't want to miss any qualified ones. An application is really good for similar to a sieve. How big of the holes do you want to be in your sieve, or how thin do you want them to be? How much are you catching? How much are you letting go? And so that's there are a few different levers that you can push and pull. One of them is how many questions are there in your application? The longer the application is, you're adding more friction. So somebody has to be more motivated to continue that next step. You can change the type of question. A multiple choice question is going to have less friction. Again, trying to put some separation between you and the sales process. A multiple choice question is going to have less friction than one where you have to type out your answer. If you're looking for more leads, but you still have to ask a question, you should break it up into 2 to 6 options that people can choose from to continue on that process smoothly. Um, how personal you get with the questions is another thing as well, especially when you're talking about budget, revenue, things of that nature. The people that are more motivated to solve that problem, kind of like my head's on fire kind of thing, they're going to be more willing to give away that kind of information. Somebody that's just tire kicking, they've got no real motivation to take that next step, they may leave at that point. And that's okay because we always like to collect the emails as the first step of this form.
Hmm.
So we've got it. We can continue to nurture those people on the back end, sending them emails, putting them on the email list. So maybe they do become a buyer at some point. Maybe their tire kicking mentality becomes I need to solve this week, this month, this year. I'm ready to take action now. And they can rejoin that sales process. You shouldn't want to not take advantage of any information you're paying for in the form of paid ads. You want to capture everything you can so you can continue to engage with those prospects. But not all of them are buyers now. And if you pitch to them at the wrong time, it could do more harm than good. So you always want to be pitching to the right people.
Makes a lot of sense. And I like the fact that if the application asking people questions after they've seen the entire ad or VSL, it is extra friction, so it is going to probably lose a few leads right there. But if you're great at sales or you don't want to miss out on any opportunity, remove it altogether, go ham and just make a crazy amount of work ethic. And I'm thinking in that case, we've got the ads framework, the landing page, the application, the VSL. So, okay, for the landing page, is there any tips or things that you've seen that completely destroy any chance for conversion? And what are the best people doing? Like, what are you guys doing for creating high quality landing pages?
It's not necessarily about the structure or anything that you can do from like content that you're putting on the page, but having a good back-end system in place so that your page is loading quickly. Loading times are a big indicator if somebody's going to stick around. If you can't deliver information quickly on a website, are you going to be a good coach? People aren't really thinking those things out loud or to themselves. It's kind of a subconscious thing. If you can't get your things together in the small ways, are you really deserving of my high ticket premium amount that I'm going to be paying for this kind of coaching product? So that needs to be dialed in. Some other things that we're using to help us boost conversions. You can host your VSL through YouTube and embed it, but what we use is a service called Wistia, and they have a free version that you can use. What it gives us is extra tracking, so we know exactly when people are leaving, and it also gives us more control over the controls of the video player.
Mm.
You can remove the timeline so people can't see how far into the video they are. You can remove the volume control. You can make it so that they can't speed up the video. You can set the video at a certain speed. Sometimes 1.2 works well because it's still understandable, but you're talking faster, so people have to stay on the page for a shorter amount of time. You can also do a video hook with Wistia. You can set a few second clip of you talking about your offer, or Cody Sanchez has a funnel for contrarian thinking, her coaching program, where she is off screen and then she walks in and sits down. That's the whole video hook, and it starts over. It makes you think, what am I missing out on? She's talking about something here. Another tool you can use to get that click to start that sales process. We want people to be engaged, have curiosity whenever possible, and those are just a few of the things that we can do to help facilitate that.
I love that idea. I'm actually going to try to apply that into my own. Even in the last podcast, it was a landing page building expert. Like this guy, all he does builds landing pages. And even he talked about Wistia, that embedding the video makes it a lot better for load times. His biggest priority was the same thing that you said, load times. Cut it down in half, you'll see a massive conversion. Okay, I think you've given such amazing value into the world of ads on how to create the VSL, how to create the ad copy, how to create the landing pages. And I'm just thinking, why should people focus on ads, not more so organic content? Because for me as well, I'm completely based off of organic content. Like, if you were to sell to me, why should I do ads?
Yeah, that's a great question. Organic is not bad. Well, I think I mentioned this either while we were on it or before the podcast, but I was an organic content manager too for that coach for a while. So I was running the Instagram, the podcast, the YouTube. There is tremendous value in being able to find new people through social media for free. Very valuable. It should be a priority for your business. The problem comes in when maybe the algorithm shifts or you've got a dry spell where your content doesn't hit with the same audience that it used to, or any of the different things that Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube do to make their algorithm better for themselves and their advertisers, sometimes at the downfall of the creators. What advertising does specifically in the paid sense is it gives you access to consistent results. As long as Facebook doesn't change their ad prices, which they have been known to do in the past, you can have a certain, pretty well set or within a range, cost per 1,000 views. And so with that, you can do some math. If 1,000 people are viewing this, how many people are clicking? Out of that amount of people that are clicking, how many people watch my VSL and decide to take action on my CTA? From that, how many people are able to get through the application and get on a call? Okay, now what's my closing rate? Maybe for every 1,000 people you have see the ad, maybe only one or two, or maybe only half a person converts. So maybe you need 2,000 views to make that conversion take place. But when you have that math over a big enough volume, you have consistency. And that's what you don't get with organic traffic. You could have a video blow up and have a ton of people come to your site. Or worse, a video you didn't pitch blows up. And now you've got all these people that saw your stuff, but nobody's taking action. What paid advertising does, it allows you to capitalize on consistency. It is an investment. I know it can be scary for business owners that are solo or have a small team. And I know their mindset is, this is my paycheck that I'm spending out into the universe, and I have no idea if it's going to come back. For the people that think that way, I hear you. I understand where you're coming from. It is important to take care of you and your family first. But when it comes time to grow your business, paid advertising is a safe play, especially when you partner with somebody that's done it. You can run ads by yourself, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's not just because I run ads, because I've been in the game and I know how to make it successful. You should be focusing on what makes your business profitable, which is either founder-led sales, fulfilling your service, or creating new offers. There are things that would make you more money to focus on. And it's a lot less scary to pay somebody with a guarantee. For example, we've got a guarantee with our service. If we don't deliver on a certain metric, we give you money back because we didn't do our job. And you can't have that kind of guarantee with yourself because you're the one spending the money. So I think that's why it's beneficial to partner with somebody. I think paid advertising is a step. You have to make a decision that it's right for you at the time. And it's easier for high ticket coaches and people that sell a high ticket service to make that decision because there's a lot of math that goes into, are ads even helpful for my product or service? Sometimes the answer is no. If you have a call with me and you're interested in marketing, I can tell you for a fact. It's like, you're not going to get a return on this, so it's not worth your time. Stick to organic. It's working out well for you. For those that are considering it, it is an investment. It will give you more consistent results over the long term compared to organic.
I love the detail because that's what matters. I might be showing people the best case result where you were able to make $1 million from how much was the ad spend?
The ad spend was about in the ballpark of 50,000 per month. In order to receive those kinds of results, you have to have an investment in advertising. And they were receiving multiple X on their investment in revenue return, which is the biggest determining factor on if you should continue to run ads is your return on ad spend. Are you getting minimum 3X return on your ad spend?
Absolutely. And I'm pretty sure that isn't the norm. You probably do it for a lot less as well for other coaches, depending
Oh,
on their range. So let's say if a coach is committed, like they have made up their mind, they want to reach out, where should they reach out to you? How
you
should they?
can reach out to my email,
Hmm.
shane@ascensionmodel.io. I'm also on LinkedIn, pretty active there, so you can shoot me a connection request. We can start a conversation. And then, yeah, our website as well. If you download our marketing playbook, we've got a secret pack of shortcuts. You just put in your email, it'll send it to you. I'll follow up with, kind of a request for a meeting or say like, hey, I hope you enjoyed the tools. What stuck out to you? Are you interested in taking the next step for your offer with advertising? And we can go from there.
Okay, awesome. And I'm going to put all the details on the podcast page and on LinkedIn so people can find you because this was absolutely perfect. Just like this was the exact structure anyone needs to actually run ads themselves. But you're so right. I've tried running them in the past, spent thousands. It's a pain. You're not doing it right. You're putting money down the gutter. It's just better to get someone who's an expert to help you out
Yeah.
with this.
Yeah. And I've also talked with people recently that are not there, and I love having these kinds of conversations, talking about offers. So if you feel like you're almost there, but you don't know if it's for you, I'd love to have that conversation still. Love to meet with new coaches and help them succeed. That's what I like doing.
I would highly recommend for any coaches, reach out to Shane. Thank you, Shane, so much for coming on the podcast. I hope everyone took some value from this.
Great to meet you. Thank you so much for your time.
Take care, man. Bye. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And if you want more details about the speaker, on the website, there's going to be a lot more details about where you can connect with them, what they're doing, and everything in detail. So check out the website. But like always, it doesn't matter what kind of information was shared today, unless you apply it into your life today, it's not going to matter. You're going to forget about it tomorrow. So always keep things simple, apply what you learned, and make sure you absolutely dominate this week. Take care. Talk to you later. Bye.